Yeah, sorry. In case you couldn't understand, I didn't sound like that throughout the stream. Okay, I
It'd
spoke
be cool
English.
if you, on purpose, just did that impression for the whole next hour. Who says that we have poor quality sound? Not me. I don't get why it echoes. Like, it echoed on the last couple of episodes, it's been echoey. I don't know how. I've been fiddling around with settings. Don't know how it happens. But then, while editing the highlights of the Switch stream, because hello everyone, welcome back to No Bubble Podcast, episode 147, something like that. And
who cares?
so when we stream, it also records it and saves it, so we can obviously, so we can do highlights, which they cut off for the WandaVision one, which is so literally like the episode ends and then the whole stream just ended for some reason, because CPU, computer shit, whatever you want to call it. Will be fixed pronto, because I'm going to.
Will you release? Is there footage of that to be released? Or am I wrong? Is that highlight video like both streams in one, or is it just the Falcon Winter Soldier?
That's just the Falcon Winter Soldier. So we did one for Falcon Winter Soldier. We did the finale like we did the WandaVision finale, and the Falcon Winter Soldier one went better because it didn't like interrupt it. You know, it dropped a few frames, but apart from that, it was a lot better. I think in terms of, people watching along didn't have as many things of like, you look like you've painted the screen on a rock and you've thrown it into my eyeballs. There was less of that.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know whether it streamlines itself because I've tried to fucking screen record footage from the capture card. That's not worked. Like Crash Bandicoot, looked like I was just like that because it definitely didn't run the frames for fucking Spider-Man. But then the Game Capture HD that you get when you download it from fucking the Elgato anyway was working, so like that works, so I need to edit that and release it. I was going to do that today, but I just woke up and I was like, just going to play FIFA for a bit. Just did that. Mainly because I've been watching Line of Duty and that is fucking great to be watching that again.
I thought it was the one season that everyone's on about. I didn't know it was like, 5 or 6 seasons of that.
Series 6 is on, man. It's good.
I don't want to say shit, but yes, I've heard about it so much.
It
I've heard about it so much.
I became more aware of it when Daniel Mays and that were in it, I think Series 3, and now it's like, fucking, it's doing like 11 million on the overnights. When people say, linear TV is dead. It's all on iPlayer, it's all on catch-up. It's not, because shows like that can draw in the numbers. I think that the last episode, the most recent episode drew in the highest viewing figure since The Next Doctor, which was the highest viewed at
the Next Doctor is in 2008, Christmas special in 2008.
Yes.
Bloody hell, okay. Yeah.
In terms of like one specific episode, because that was Christmas, that was right after the big finale. The highest overall audience is still Voyage of the Dam, which was like 12.6, something like that. Anyway, forget why I talk about this. The stream was good.
It was good, yes. It was fun. I had fun doing it. Yeah, I mean, it might have looked shit on my end, but on my end, I was fine.
It was a good episode. We'll talk about that in a second, in a hot minute. But anyone that joined and watched for a bit, I know Jack dropped us a host and stuff as well, so thanks. Continue to do that kind of stuff.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
As we get into being able to be in the same room how long is it now? How long we got?
So it's roughly like 2 weeks, I think. It is, where are we, 28? So yeah, just over 2 weeks. 17th is a Monday.
2 weeks. So until we can be in the same room and touch each other.
16 days. But then by the time this comes out, it'll be like 11.
We will have a much better setup by then. I can say that.
Okay.
In terms of just space. Okay. I'll go into that with you after this. But
sure. Okay. All right.
Let's talk about some movie films. What we got? I don't literally. Do you ever have the thing where you look at stuff, screenshot it, or send it to each other, and then you just forget about it until the day we have to talk about it?
Well, I've just tried sending you stuff on Instagram, like last-minute snippets we can talk about, even though we haven't seen them, like, that particular bit of material yet. But then hopefully come the 17th of May, we'll be able to see it, and then we can...
Oh, goodness me, Susan, I'm bloody massive. Yes. So, some bits we sort of talked about in the middle of the stream, which is why I cut out the highlights, because essentially, I'm not giving you all your content for free, am I? Even though you're not paying for this.
Did we discuss, to cut you off, sorry, did we discuss the Secret Invasion casting? Did we do that last week?
I think we just briefly mentioned it, so we'll get into, I'm just going to look, because there's stuff from weeks ago that still didn't get mentioned, so I think the first thing we're going to do over this last week has been the 10-year anniversary of the first broadcast of Game of Thrones. There's been, okay.
Yeah.
Bear with me, man. Bear with me. I've got some stuff. Not a lot, but I've got some stuff.
Yeah, sure.
We've made our opinions quite clear in it. We did a recap series. That was quite fun when we were doing that in the podcast.
When I was discovering it as well,
Yeah, because you sort of stopped.
I only did 1 and 2, and series... I can't remember if I did up to series 3, or I did 1 and 2, and then series 3 I watched. But 1 and 2 I knew I definitely had seen. I think I rewatched 3, and then series 4 onwards I hadn't.
Yeah. So we recap. Anyone who missed it, go and check it out. It'd be nice. We did in anticipation for the final season, which was 2019, originally 2018, but then pushed back because Kit Harington got married. That was a good thing, and he's not Northern. Now, we did in the build up to. So in the 7 weeks before, we did each season in each episode, and then did the final season. Like each week we did the episode, and then we did the whole big roundup of the whole thing, which did quite well in terms of numbers, and that was sort of the first time we sort of really went in on anything. I think we got quite good traction, and it's the first time we sort of really went in on it, because
there's something good.
We are overall, if I'm judging it off of all 8 seasons, in terms of quality, the show is good. In terms of where it leaves for me, I don't like. I'm not one of the ones that are like, remake the last season, blah blah blah. It felt a lot of the thing of, because the main story is that we've alluded to so many times, is that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss were offered a Star Wars trilogy, but they couldn't do it until Game of Thrones finished, and HBO offered them 10 episode seasons for 7 and 8. How true this is, we're never going to know unless we ever speak to him, which would be nice. Because I really want to ask him why, we put faith in a man who wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine to write a good show. And they were like, no, we can do it in 13. So 7 episode season and then a 6 episode season. And it felt like they were rushing it to get into the Star Wars job, and then the backlash of that, and then they dropped out of Star Wars and started doing, and they signed up for their Netflix deal. And they backed out of it, and it was because they cancelled their appearance at Comic-Con that year because of the backlash, supposedly, and Seth Rogen then goes on in a brilliant video to then roast them and say, because those guys didn't show up, I made a TV show because he was there with the Preacher cast, because that was in the build to their final season, I think. Yeah, because I think it was when they just announced that 4 was going to be the last. And he was like, I'll answer any, I've watched Game of Thrones, so I probably know about as much as the creators. So he was like making jokes like that, and it was almost universally. I think some people have kind of mellowed to it in terms now, because it's been 2 years since we've had anything to do with it, since the last episode was broadcast. So we're coming up to 10 years since it first happened, and people are getting nostalgic again. I got nostalgic because I was saying to you during lockdown, because my girlfriend had never watched it. We watched from season 1 right through to the end, and overall for her, she gets I never told her anything about it. Like, in terms of my opinions, I said I'll talk to you about it once you've seen it all, because I didn't want to cloud her judgment with I like this, but when it gets to this point, I'm a bit like,
turn off. Yeah, exactly.
So she went into it blind. We sort of then talked about it afterwards, and it was the show is good. Like, you can see where the peak is. Like, you can see from once it hits that stride in season 3 up to arguably I think the beginning of season 7, because I think it does go a bit. I think it does go past season 6. I think 7 starts off with that thing of we're going to carry on this thing, but then it's Like after a couple of
It
episodes
does
of that,
kind
it's
of.
like, oh, we have to speed all this up because we've got less episodes to work with by choice because we didn't want to have a nice round number of episodes, which really fucking annoys me. So I did like I went up to bat for that show so many times. I got into it for season 3. Season 3 is when I first watched it because friends of mine at college like used to bang on about this show. What is it like? I'd never read the books before then. I went to HMV because I went to college in Harlow. Went there, and so there's a HMV in town, right? So when I was waiting for my bus on the way home, I just popped into HMV and bought season 1 because Game of Thrones did that thing of like just as the new season would come out, the last season would come out on Blu-ray, which is always really fucking weird.
Yeah,
So
I remember. Yeah,
so I got season 1 and I went home and watched it over. I think I got it on the Friday, so I'd say I watched it over that weekend. And I was like, yeah, I like it. Like I get the potential of the show is great. It was a bit confusing at the start. They give you the whole family tree thing just so you know who's who, who's related to who, what are all the fucking names. Went back the next week, got season 2, beasted that out, and then literally just in time for season 3. Watched that week by week as it went out because it went out Mondays for us, Sundays for the Americans, and from then on I was hooked. Literally same time every year, sitting down on a Monday night to watch that, or on the Tuesday morning, because then they started doing it, releasing it on the Sky Q menu and that, didn't they? When it was like, as soon as it's out in America, you could get up early on Monday morning and download it, but it was just watch it when it's on terrestrial television, because that's quite nice to still watch linear TV, even though it's dead.
Exactly. Yeah. Gen X era.
So it's not like I'm just hating on it for some reason. I've loved it and I've been there for it and I've been up for it and I own the whole thing. Because
you've basically lived through it. You've lived through it. You've seen it.
And I have Game of Thrones because overall, back to the point, we've got all my full circle. Like I've got some great memories watching that show. Like the shock moments, like what that show did for British television and just television in general was phenomenal. Like the cast is amazing, the production values were awesome, the storytelling was fucking unbelievable. Like it changed from just gratuitous fucking sex scenes, nudity to becoming like that sort of drew you in and got your attention. Like Ian McShane says, tits and dragons. Like that got you in the first couple of seasons, but then the story just drags you on and takes you on this massive fucking journey, and it ended quite shit. Let's be honest. For me,
sure.
I can see the merits of what they were going for. I don't necessarily agree with them. It's the 10th anniversary, so a lot of people are then having that debate again, because Twitter, I think, has been a quite nasty place over the last couple of days. Like, there are some people that have said like some kind of vitriol stuff, and it's like that's never going to be us because that's not how we think, and we're not just going to say it if we wanted views.
Exactly, yeah. We ain't just going to say something controversial or clickbait title just to get us to go, hey, we're getting money this week, George. Hey, we've made it, you know?
Yeah, it would be nice to make money from this, but we talk about this stuff because we love it and it's our opinions. The only things that will change will be our opinions of whether we think stuff is good or bad. Like,
exactly.
Like I said to you, I was slightly more kinder towards Game of Thrones now looking on it retrospectively because of all the shit we've been through. Like you get to think of like, if you look at it, so what I'm saying is you look at it outside that sort of bubble of hate, let's say, you know, because everyone was on it. I was against it, but I wasn't sort of like, oh no, this needs to be remade. It's
fuck this is what I want. Yeah, like these guys don't know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly.
So looking at it outside that, it was like, no, I get what they're going for. It still doesn't sit right with me, but
no,
it's a thing.
It probably never will. It probably never will. But it happened, like you say, it's happened, and we can't change that. And the only Game of Thrones thing we know is coming is that was it House of the Dragons, Land of the Dragons?
Yes, House of the
Dragons.
Because that's what I was trying to get onto.
I think filming now, isn't it? It's filming now, isn't it?
Yeah. So we had pictures from the read through and some early set pictures from the production. So we've seen Matt Smith in a blonde wig. That's nice. We've seen him at the table. The man's 38. That makes me feel old.
Yeah, because he said he was like 26 when he started doing back in
He was 26 when he was cast as a Doctor, and that was a 2009
Like announcement.
Doctor Who Confidential special episode. He was 26 then, so he was about just like 27 when I think he was in Series 5 production. So he was, because Series 6 turned 10 this last week. Like the start, the start of Series 6, like my personal favourite Matt Smith season. Controversial, I know. They just said, YouTuber stuff, and like, yeah, we're not involved in it, but now they're talking about it. We're allowed to have opinions. Yeah, it's my favourite Matt Smith season. I really do sort of have a lot of time for that, mainly because I think the characterisation of the Doctor, Amy and Rory is at its peak, and Rory on the TARDIS is never a bad thing.
No, exactly. Rory was great.
Got a fucking blockbuster opening.
Mm-hmm.
Which at the time it was like
kind of movie feel, yeah. It did feel
like
a
movie. 2-part fucking. It's a shame that we didn't get more Matt Smith 2-parters, because these two in Series 6 are his last sort of direct ones. I know, like the Doctor trilogy links in at the end, and it's all connected and blah blah blah. But we didn't get a 2-part finale for him in this series, which is a missed opportunity, and we didn't get any 2-parters in Series 7. But this, for me, is coming into this series. I think Matt Smith was my Doctor. We all go in that cycle of like, I'm not sure about this person. First season, it's like, yeah, they're pretty cool. They come back and it's like, no, this is great. This is the Doctor, and then you go through that cycle every 3 or 4 years for some unknown reason.
I think
we pay our fucking.
I think for me, I'd still say Series 5 is my favourite Matt season.
Series 5 is better in terms of like lineage of. Sorry to cut you off. Like, as in the 1 to 13 episodes. In terms of quality, it is the best, and it's probably my like. If I was doing like
if
my
I
favourite season,
if I wanted to pick an individual episode, it'd be from Series 5 as opposed to Series 6.
Yeah, there's some great stuff in that. I just think when you get, especially that first half, like when you get to the back end of Series 5, and definitely the first half of Series 6, and then there's gems within like Series 6 Part 2. Like, that is when Matt is settled in. Like, he knows he's been well received from Series 5. He's got a sort of aura, like the weight's been lifted. Like, he can breathe. He can just do his stuff. He knows how good he is. Like, in the best possible way. Stephen was on point. Some of his best scripts are in Series 6 for his tenure, I think, in terms of the whole thing. I know he has gems hidden, sometimes quite well hidden, in the Capaldi era, and Series 7 is a bit more slight because the poor man had Sherlock and that. We're not getting into a Doctor Who showrunner thing like now. That's the conversation for another time. I just love it, and it turned 10, and it's like, wow, I remember the excitement of watching this show.
Watching it weekly, yeah, being up at that time, Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night.
Saturday nights, start like beginning / mid-April, and then going on, and then like, and I liked the break in Series 6 as much as it's like that was the best version of the break was Series 6, not Series 7. Because I need to figure it out, because in a Moffat interview he talks about if you look at the scheduling, you can tell sorry, that was a fucking. It looked like it was a LinkedIn notification, but it was just a Twitter thing. So what was I saying? Yeah, so like you say you can look at the scheduling, you can see what they split it around in 2011 and obviously 2012, 2013. But then you had Doctor at the beginning of the year, Doctor at the end of the year, and then you had a couple of weeks because it ended in like end of October, and then it was Christmas special, and then it was a long wait till September. So it was like, oh,
typical.
That's when the whole scheduling went out of whack, because then it was that long wait, and then a wait again, and then the second half, and then the anniversary then elongated that, and then it's 8, 9. Really long wait to get 10 back to a spring thing, then a long wait again for the new production. Since then it's never fully recovered scheduling wise.
No, it hasn't.
In terms of the time of the year that it goes out. That's a thing that I'm sure we'll talk about one day. But I love Series 6. What's your favourite episode of Series 6?
Doctor's Wife. I like the TARDIS.
Standard.
I
Yeah.
like the characterisation that
It's a solid pick.
I like the characterisation that the TARDIS got. It didn't rely too much on the lore previously in Series 5, and then driving the Series 6 arcs forward. It was just nice to have the TARDIS as a character for an episode, and
Good gosh,
like I say, it didn't
it's
have
the
too much weight.
TARDIS.
No, yeah, Doctor's Wife.
Neil Gaiman at his best as well.
Amy's episode, The Girl Who Waited. I like that one as
Fucking
well.
amazing. Literally, almost
Girl Who Waited.
all of the external shots are in the Millennium Centre in Cardiff. If you haven't been there, please go. It appears at least once a series in Doctor Who, especially from RTD to Moffat era. Harder to spot in the Chibnall era, I think. But yeah, that's fuck. I love it, man. I love it. I love the God Complex. For me, is a more sort of alternative choice. Toby Whithouse, I think, is one of the most underappreciated writers in the recent era, and well, it was a strong case for him to be showrunner because obviously working on stuff like Being Human and things like that, he's always been very good and very dependable in Who, and I would like to see him back pronto.
Yeah.
I think he could write Jodie very well. I like a Jodie and Mandip story. John Bishop can be there or he can't. I don't really know at the moment because I haven't met Dan the Van Man yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But I think he could do that quite well. That'd be nice. Yeah, it's just great, and it's the first time that series got me, ironically, into the box set thing because I used to buy them all. I've probably mentioned it before. Like I used to stay with my nan and granddad down in Norfolk. We go to Woolworths, and then I'd buy sort of a volume, like one or two of those every sort of few weeks, like in a half term or a summer when I'd go down there. And I got some of them for obviously Christmas and shit. But I used to love just the thing of like just lining them up. And then it was like these take up a lot of space. So then I switched to the DVD versions, like the box set versions. So then I had the things, and then I had Confidential, which I loved anyway, but it was like, why did I never just do this in the first place? Because I missed Series 5, I missed all the volumes, because I don't know, I just sort of never was like, I'll get them, waited, they got the lenticular Blu-ray one as well.
Cause I'd
got the special Blu-ray one, like all four of them, for the Christmas as well, so it was like, so it's converting, it's getting smaller, and then obviously carried on now, Steelbooks are really nice and small, and
they're even smaller.
Nice, yeah. I like them now because I'm saving so much space. But half of them are at home, and
then maybe one day when we're in our 30s, they will have 8K digital exclusive, and they'll be about this big because they won't be able to fit on your shelves because they'll be on your TV, on the internet, the unreliable cloud. They won't be on your.
Like going back to that thing, it's why we have physical media in it. It's why we have.
Exactly, they'll be gone.
Like the collection box sets save so much space in terms of just the big fucking grey bulky DVDs there. But no, the Series 8 one was good.
Yeah.
Shall we get on to the main sort of topic?
That was nice, unexpected. I didn't even realise. I knew it was the year of season 6 and Game of Thrones in general, but I didn't think we were at the anniversaries so.
Yeah, man.
Soon. So,
just quickly going on to Doctor Who, actually, because John Barrowman was seen on his social media getting his hair dyed with a woman wearing a BBC lanyard. Bern Gorman, obviously Owen Harper, took a picture while he was in Wales. And Eve Miles, Gwen Cooper, was sitting with a coat on in the sun, and her hair because she does. I forget what her show is, but it's meant to be really good, and she's got blonde hair in that, but she'd had her hair dyed back to brown, and everyone was like, is this Torchwood? Because everyone's really excited that the BBC is becoming a physical channel again. I, for one, am really excited, because then it means, as much as, like, let's make BBC Three sort of like the BBC's version of Netflix, we'll just put stuff on there. You can still do that, but young people liked having a channel because I liked watching all that stuff on there. Stuff like Gavin and Stacey and Torchwood come out of that, and it was great. So people are like, is Torchwood coming back? And then there was a picture of John Barrowman reading a script that was for Doctor Who Time Fracture, the live sort of experience. Sort of, it's not an escape room. It's like that weird sort of. It's like a live show, like choose your own sort of thingy. There's different outcomes and such. Blah blah blah.
The 4D ride.
You've gone really quiet.
Oh, is it? Because these Raycon. Alright. Just it.
Is that better?
Oh,
Like, I can hear you.
I
But
mean,
you
you're
just,
not coming up.
you just suddenly went like really sort of like, oh, the word mama.
I'm not here. I am here, but
There we go.
yeah, carry on, mate. Carry on. If I sort this out, I'll let you.
I'll just turn you up a little bit, just for now, so the audience can hear you. Yeah. So Doctor Who Time Fracture, the like live experience sort of show thing. I've part of. I don't know if it's part of Time Lord Victorious, but also at this point don't really care. And then
No,
there's a picture.
that's not going to end. You're back in my ears, by the way. You're back.
There we go.
Am I loud?
That's
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah.
It said on his script at the top, it said Torchwood Hub.
Oh.
And then we got confirmation from some pictures. But there was a picture that was put up either by him or by the Time Fracture Instagram account itself. You have to check it out at, what is it? At DW Time Fracture. Yeah, for the official. What does it say? Immersive Everywhere production. So it's like an immersive sort of like an escape room kind of thing, show thing that happens. It's got a story. Go and see it. When you're allowed to.
Yeah.
There was a picture
Exactly.
of like the green screen, like someone on the camera, someone there, and then someone with like a white scarf on as well. And then we got confirmation that John Barrowman had filmed a video cameo for it. So like part of the thing. So it's like the thing is, it's so in the live show, like Unit are dealing with it. So there's like you're almost recruited to Unit because Kate Stewart, Gemma Redgrave. She's like filmed a bit. She's in the trailer. I don't know if Ingrid Oliver's involved as Osgood. I'd assume so in some capacity.
I hope so. Yeah.
Like you know, like essentially you've got to fix it because like we don't know whether we've got to either contact the doctor or fix this problem. Blah blah blah. So he's filmed it. So he like had his hair dyed and done that, which is nice because we're getting more John Barrowman in things, and that's never a bad thing.
No, making him canon again. He's not forgotten.
But the way his hair was dyed, sort of still had like bits of grey in it. So are we going for something?
Is it a future Jack?
Yeah, maybe.
Is it like a future Jack?
Because we know that Jack still ages because he goes on about it, but then they still dye his hair. So I don't get it. Like when he talks about having a grey hair in 2007.
What are we supposed to get in a show about a man in a police box who then eventually meets a rogue time agent from the 52nd century or something like that, Jack's from,
and then becomes immortal, becomes a face of both,
and becomes a living face in a jar? Like, what are we supposed to get about that?
It's weird that he talks about like having a grey hair and now they're still dyeing his hair back to normal. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think we're at the point now where if like you could just do it, just cut John Barrowman's hair the same, but just have it grey.
Yeah.
The thing of like, no, he is aging. Like.
Yeah, show it. Yeah, show it.
I'm not going to be against. It's like for us that have grown up with him, it's Jack. Like that's him. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but also another cameo for it is the first Doctor himself, David Bradley, is built his cameo for it. With a much longer wig. So people are saying, is it going from like there's like a screen capture of like the smugglers or something? It's like maybe they're going for this look. It's like so like they show him putting his wig on, and there's a comparison of like Hartnell, you know, his famous sort of publicity one from the anniversary, and they showed like stuff of him like the original or whatever his little documentary was called, of him smiling, looking at the camera, getting his wig on. It's like same vibes. It also made me think: does David Bradley have a contract where he has to dress up as the first Doctor every 4 years?
Exactly, that could be a thing.
It's been 4 years since Time of the Doctor, and 4 years before that was Adventure in Space and Time. So, but no, it's nice. It's nice to know that in this, because this is very much set within the Jodie era, because her police box is is the external of the TARDIS that we're using, and probably we'll see the internal at some point, and we can't find her, so there's friends that are helping along the way to try and close it up. If we get a whole appearance from the Torchwood team, that would
That'd
make
be
my
cool.
heart sing.
That would be sick, yes. Whether or not they will either confirm or deny the Big Finish range of canonicity, and because
Or we get another
there's the Big
series.
Finish of at least like a Series 5, Series 6, or if, like you say, if it's going to be a proper live action, Torchwood are back, and this time we've got to find the Doctor. Maybe that could be an actual thing. Maybe it could live past its escape room concept, live show, whatever, and maybe it could then be dragged into, if not Series 13, then, I don't know, Series 14, who, whenever we get to that, if providing the world's much better, they can actually film it safely, then, I don't know, that could be something. I've seen a couple of videos booming around the last couple of weeks saying, back when Doctor Who had its multiverse, and I wouldn't call it a multiverse, but being, you had...
It was like the Avengers of television.
As we've covered as well, like, over the channel's life cycle, if we could ever get back to that kind of era of multiple spin-offy shows with Who colliding and crossing over each other, and we'll be here for that. I'd be here for that. It would help save viewing figures. It would help save live TV. It'd give me a reason to watch BBC One. Personally,
Again, let's get back into it. But yeah, that was a thing. That was nice. Yeah, that was a nice little surprise. As was the previously announced Netflix deal for Sony. We got a bit of more to divulge on that. So Sony agreed to deal with Netflix because they don't have enough stuff to start their own streaming service. Essentially, I think that's essentially what it is. They probably, because they've got the Sky Movies channel, not the Sky Movies, the Sony Movies channel on like TV.
Sky, yeah.
So they that was maybe testing the waters for that, but there's not really, I think, a great deal of big stuff that would draw it, because technically their Spider-Man movies in the deal are Marvel movies, because Marvel produce and make all the money for them. Like, no, they spend all the money on them to like produce them, and then Sony distribute them and get the money from the release.
Yeah, off of it, yeah.
So it was a bit strange because Disney Plus don't have all the MCU movies. They're missing Spider-Man, Homecoming, Far From Home, and on the other side of it, Universal's still have the rights to Incredible Hulk, so that's why we don't have that. So they announced, like we spoke about last week briefly, didn't we, that they'd agreed to... It's more of a first refusal thing, so like they get it automatically, but they can also say no. Like, so if they say like, do you want this? Like, they get a thing and then they can have it because it's in part of their deal. So, including the MCU Spider-Man, which includes No Way Home, the Raimi trilogy, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, Spider-Verse 1 and 2, Venom 1 and 2, Ghost Rider 1 and 2, and Morbius.
I didn't know they were distributed by Sony. The Ghost Rider.
I
didn't even realise.
I think
I didn't realise it wasn't
they're
Disney Plus.
what's it? TriStar or Columbia. I think they're sort of like that.
They're all under Sony. Yeah, okay. Oh,
So like
I didn't even know.
sort of like that. But then we got literally a couple of days later, we got the confirmation. So that was happening from like 2020, from this year to up to like 2026. That's the sort of agreement. But then after that, between 2022 and 2026, they will then, when they come off of, so Netflix must only have them for a limited time, they will then make their way over to Disney Plus.
Hey.
All the Spider-Man films, all 8 of them, or 10 if you include the 2 Spider-Verse films. But in terms of live action,
Right. Okay.
you get the Raimi and Amazing will go under Marvel Legacy, like the X-Men. So will I think Venom 1 and 2 will go under there as well, because sort of adjacent. It depends. Maybe like
I can't.
yeah, because
if this Sony universe actually gets developed, then
that's what they might do it. They might do it in terms of like they might just put it under like the Spider-Man banner and have Venom 1 and 2, Morbius, because it's like MCU adjacent, isn't it? It's
or just another thought while we're on the subject. If for whatever reason, Sony and Disney Plus want to get more traction and more exclusivity content. It might be a Disney Plus original movie or a Sony original movie on Disney Plus. Like, because there was concepts for like a Black Cat movie, a Black and Silver Sable movie.
Yeah.
I can't think of any more, but if they ever get around to making whatever they wanted to make, they could just do it as like Disney Plus exclusive movies or Sony original, Sony presents. It could get traction on it.
So Netflix get the titles for an 18-month window. So when they go over there, they've got 18 months, and then after the 18 months, then they move on to Disney Plus. Listen, there's a lot of digestible. So basically, Frank Peralta on Twitter, shout out, did a little mini thread about it. But just know the Disney Plus's chronological order section by Marvel Studios is finally complete. Damn it, remembers the Incredible Hulk.
Exactly.
So there's like the pay window is 18 months, and then it will go on to Disney Plus, which is good for us because then we'll have it all under one roof, which is what we want, and eventually, it's just going to live there permanently. But
and hopefully not get removed. Disney, I'm watching you, don't remove it.
I think apart from stuff like that with the series, it won't. I doubt there's going to be a lot that's going to be sort of chopped and changed. It's sort of going to be on there because that's the draw of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There will be notes.
That'd be good. We also got, so that's good in terms of technology. What am I just trying to? Because I've got loads of fucking football screenshots as well, which I don't need. Sorry, this screenshot is stuff from the Arsenal protest that no one really cares about. I do. I wish I could have gone, but I couldn't. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special we briefly touched on in the stream, but I cut it out so we could talk about it now.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Hit me. Go for it.
He's finished the script.
Oh, I thought you were telling me. Yeah. Okay. That's right. He's finished the script. It's still is it summer 2022 release, isn't it? And then Guardians 3 is out in 2023.
Yeah. For now, that's the sort of take the dates with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. What else did you tell me? I can't think of any more. I thought that was it.
Oh, there was a brief. Did you see the interaction between him and Mark Hamill? Because Mark Hamill quote tweeted it with, "I got a bad feeling about this," and James Gunn was like, "Not all holiday specials are bad," or something like that.
Oh, really?
Because they've got the they've got the animated section of Boba Fett from the holiday special on Star Wars Vintage,
but not the whole thing.
But nothing else. Cowards. Briefly though, Star Wars wise, there's some old news on there. I'll probably
after Star Wars, I want to mention James Gunn.
Yeah, so briefly about Star Wars. Did you ever hear about Star Wars Detours? Basically, a television show that was in production with the guys from Robot Chicken, because Lucasfilm sort of looked at it and like, what's been our most popular thing? Like, because this was before the new trilogy was announced, and it was like Family Guy and Robot Chicken did quite well for us, and so they got the team behind that, and they were coming up with this animated, I think it's CGI animated comedy show called Star Wars Detours. And then with the acquisition by Disney, when they sort of went, everything's now not canon apart from Clone Wars, Rebels, and we're making a new trilogy, so we want you to take it seriously. So this kind of thing that you've made just sort of stays in the corner and just gets left alone. 70
until now.
70 episodes were scripted. I think about 50 odd were recorded in some capacity. So you've got like Breckin Meyer, Seth MacFarlane, Seth Green, and all that sort of. They're still there. Like so, as Palpatine, Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan. Seth Green's Obi-Wan, isn't he? Yeah. Breckin Meyer's a really good Boba Fett. And down goes Solo. Pew 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 pew. I'm in a Sarlacc pit. So yeah, and I think it is now being released, rumoured on May the 4th, under Star Wars Vintage.
Oh.
We're getting Star Wars Detours. Not a confirmed date, but rumoured. So for them to, because they had, I think, about 2 seasons worth of stuff. I don't know whether it's going to be released to seasons or just a thing of like, here's just all the episodes. Because any episodes...
because if you look at the Clone Wars on the vintage collection, it's both seasons, but they're released as 2 hour, hour and 20-minute long episodes.
Well, that's because they were like 10-minute
really
episodes
weird.
at the time. Something like that.
I think they are, yeah. So it's like a compilation of all the episodes, but rather than do each one individually, you've got it as
Probably
two
just
big
takes up less space.
hour-long folders.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they're
I don't
doing
know,
it
might be that.
as that. So I think the number that started about is like 57 odd episodes, something like that. And ones
Right.
that needed a bit of finishing have had like additional dialogue and stuff recorded and finished off. And there is specials that were originally planned, I think, are either done or being done for this show, and they're putting it out under
Okay.
Star Wars Vintage. So if you love Robot
good
Chicken
then.
Star Wars or Robot Chicken in general, go and check out Star Wars Details when that drops. Hopefully, May the 4th.
That'd be nice. That would be cool.
I
Okay.
just thought that was a nice little sort of
Never
thing for you.
Never heard of that one, but yeah, no, that would be something I'll check out.
Mhm.
More content to watch on Disney.
Briefly, we got cast in for. I'm just gonna wipe these quick. This was a couple of weeks ago because there's stuff that we do cover and that takes up longer. So I'm just gonna try and clear me thorn a bit. We got cast in for Indiana Jones 5, which was Mads Mikkelsen and Thomas Kretschmann, who was Baron Strucker, I believe, in Age of Ultron.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're in Indiana Jones 5. That's a thing that's happening. Just seeing if there's anything else before Marvel. Snyder Cut, doesn't matter.
No,
Fast and Furious 9.
That's subject to that.
Well, one day I'll watch it. The Fast 9 director teases the return of Hobbs and Shaw in the Fast and Furious franchise because obviously when they originally made Fast
Yes.
9, there was the whole beef about Hobbs and Shaw getting released, and then their production started, so they Johnson and Statham were not able to then appear in it because of timing issues, despite the fact that everything got delayed. But they tease that they will be back, especially because Jason Statham has made it clear after seeing, because Han survived his crash apparently in Tokyo, which was the whole thing, because he comes back, because 8 is the first, no, 7 is the first one that's after 3. Is that how
Yes,
works?
it is. Yeah. I think 7 is the culmination at that point. Yeah.
But
Yes.
does Han return? Han returns in 8 or 7?
I
One
think
of them
so.
he returns in.
I think it's either one of the latter two, 7 or 8.
Because he's in all the ones after 3 because they all take place before 3. Because it goes Fast and Furious 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
And then obviously we had 8, which was pretty decent. And then we get in 9, and Jason Statham has made his intentions clear with, I've got unfinished business, they better bring me back. Because Han was very prominent in the latest by 2 weeks ago, trailer of F9, which does look crazy because they're sort of going to space.
Yeah, there's a rocket car. Yes.
Yeah. But, he also wants to be in a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie, so he's clearly still a bit drunk from all those Coronas at the older family barbecues. And Aquaman 2 added,
Sounds like it's going good.
like you tagged me in a while ago, Game of Thrones connection. Pilu Asbeck, Euron Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. You tagged me in that. Forgot to say it. A couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, I did know. Yes, I did. Okay.
Marvel stuff. Let's do that because that's what we're here. Oh, and briefly, they're doing How I Met Your Father, a spin-off that's been teased for a long time. But Hilary Duff's going to be in it. She's going to be the mother. Will America ever learn to leave stuff alone? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
See
No.
the last few years of their history. Movies-wise, we're not going to get political because there's so many things I could have said, but I'm not going to.
I mean, there was an event that happened called the Oscars, and all I saw was how a certain person got snubbed for Best Oscar. But that's all I'll leave it as, because again, we're not political.
Oh,
And
Chad.
because I haven't seen. I haven't seen about either movie, so I don't know if Hopkins deserved that win or not.
Oh,
I
because
haven't seen
yeah,
either
Anthony
movie.
Hopkins became the oldest person to win
83.
leading
Yeah, he's
actor Oscar at the was it the 91st awards, something like that? I don't know. I don't keep count.
93rd. I think we googled it. 93rd. Yeah,
Not really
this year.
bothered by the number. Yeah, because Chadwick Boseman was up for it, wasn't he?
Yes.
And everyone assumed
I
because
think-
everything that he's done for cinema in general, and he probably should have won one before this. And because he's sadly no longer with us, people thought it would be a Heath Ledger situation where, posthumously, he would, I don't even know how to say that word, he would receive it. But obviously Anthony Hopkins did. But why are you surprised when the Academy is run by rich upper class white people? That's all I'm gonna say on that, Connor. That's all I'm gonna say, because Avengers Endgame is the first film in the history of the Oscars to hold the title of highest grossing film at the time of the awards and win 0 Oscars. Did you know that?
It didn't, did it? No,
No.
it didn't.
No, just thought I'd
Shocking.
that was
That-
nice because you threw an Oscar segue into that, so that was cool. So 2019's Avengers Endgame got 0. Avatar, Jurassic Park, Jaws, and The Godfather all got 3. E.T. got 4. Sound of Music got 5. Star Wars in '77 got 7. Gone with the Wind, in terms of inflation, still the highest grossing film of all time because of when it came out. In 1939, it got 10 Oscars. And the much worshipped for some reason film, Titanic, got 11.
Oh.
In terms of the film, like obviously the history of it's very important in terms of us and America and all that kind of stuff. It's just people really, whenever someone talks about Titanic, they get really aggressive. It's like, oh my god, Titanic's one of the best films of all time. Okay, it's an important part of our history.
It's important.
James Cameron, he was good then. That was not long
It was
after T2.
Terminator 2, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what you call great.
He was at the height of his powers. And they were outside shots of them filming Sonic the Hedgehog 2 because they had the big plastic
Knuckles.
model stands in for Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Looking exactly like their video game counterparts and not like the furry monster they tried to make him in the first one. So
They learned
we
their
knew
lesson.
that
They
Tails was
definitely learned.
teased, and we know that Knuckles is definitely in it, hopefully voiced by The Rock. That would be good.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Batista as is it Vector the crocodile? If we ever get to that, is it Vector? What's his name? Vector, the green crocodile thing. He was a crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Batista, fuck it.
Yes.
Dave Batista.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
I mean, we're bound to get at least one of these castings right one day. I reckon if we guessed lottery numbers, we'd get them in about 5 years, judging by how our powers work.
Oh, mate. Well, it'd be nice. Going back to James Gunn while we're on the Batista DC-ish talk.
Mhm.
He got asked a question by fans on Twitter, and we kind of knew it might be something, it might not be. But are you planning to develop future projects with DC, or is the Suicide Squad a kind of one and done thing after your Guardians 3 fired? James Gunn has then replied saying he's already more than halfway through shooting a season of a TV show's first season. So there's definitely more on the horizon for me at DC and Warner.
Is that Peacemaker?
However, exactly. So we know that's been announced. But the fact that he said it's its first season, is that therefore confirming Peacemaker to be first? Or is this something that they haven't come out and announced that James Gunn is overseeing? Is it something to do with Suicide Squad? Or do you think it's just something completely different? He's just gone, fuck it, I want to do.
Maybe because of the betrayed trust, and this will definitely almost definitely be his last direct involvement with a Marvel movie when it comes to Guardians 3, because we know this is the last iteration with this team. I wouldn't be surprised if they went the thing of, because he was going to become the he gave it a really sort of funny title, but it was basically in terms of their cosmic side of the universe, like, your Eternals, your Adam Warlocks and Novas and so off that exist in like the outer space, really
space
supernatural
plans, yeah.
sci-fi like characters, he was going to sort of be the lead sort of like consultant for, you know, how, because he was the first one to take it to space, really, because it was
Quite literally,
they're all from
quite
different
literally.
worlds, and like the logistics and mechanics of it, and the languages and the species, and he sets up like he's got the Watchers and stuff, and you know, he got the Ravengers and all those little bits that make the universe bigger as well. So he was going to be a thing of
Exactly.
like, if they come to him and say like, we're going to do this thing with a scroll planet in Captain Marvel 2, like he would have sort of been like, so this is how you can fit it into the logistics of the world we've built within the Guardians films and sort of elaborated on in Avengers 3 and 4. I wouldn't.
He
Be
kind of would have been like the
yeah.
Kevin Feige figure in terms of other planet involvement.
He'd have
They would
almost
had
been
to
like
go
second
to
fiddle
some
to
sort-
Feige,
yeah.
really, wouldn't he? He would have been sort of like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love it. Like, why don't you do this with this thing, or use this character? I wouldn't be surprised if he was used in a creative capacity for DC, because he makes good stories with ensemble characters, and if there was a person to lead you back towards a better structured DCEU, who's to say it couldn't be James Gunn?
might be him.
I don't think he'd commit himself to making loads of comic book movies and stuff now. I think that ship's maybe sort of
No.
sailed for him. If he never got fired and then done Guardians 3 and they went, oh, will you do another one? I'm pretty sure he'd have been like, oh, go on then. But now I think
Why not?
that's sort of, you know, that ship's maybe sailed for
You
him.
know, I think if anything depends on how well received his Suicide Squad is. What if he has any plans for that pre-Peacemaker? As far as we're aware, Peacemaker's the only like sort of spin-off relating, that
Yeah.
Suicide Squad movie.
For now, like you
If-
said, we could be getting stuff and just not know it yet.
Because it could be like, as we saw from the live stream, a Captain America 4 situation where, what's that, you asked? That wasn't in the Phase 4 announcements. You're telling me that you had Blade, you got Fantastic Four, and now we've got a new Captain America. Why didn't they tell us this? Because we have to see Falcon Winter Soldier first, obviously.
Blade's still technically Phase 5, isn't it? Because he sort of like went, here's the basic Phase 4 slate, which was like 5 or 6 movies, and then it was like, yeah, things will be added in because they added in Spider-Man, and stuff may shift up from the beginning of Phase 5 into Phase 4, because it's never truly set now, apart from, like, Phase 3 was pretty solid, apart from Inhumans. And they added, obviously, Spider-Man in and stuff like that, but, like, normally when they do it, it's like, it sticks to it, like, they can go 5-10 years in advance, whereas DC could announce a film that's coming out tomorrow, and then they'd fucking cancel
And they
it.
won't do it. They won't do it, yeah. No,
No.
Marvel we can trust anything with, but DC, yeah.
Just like,
but
because you were talking about the MODOK series with me, because
Yeah,
that starts streaming on
that's
May
coming
21st.
21st of May. 21st, yep.
Because we did get a trailer
Which
for that
is-
and a poster, and it's a weird sort of 3D animation style, and it was the one from Hulu.
Kind of robot. Yeah, Hulu, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so that was the question of whether or not anyone overseas was able to watch it. So, of course, then bring it to Disney Plus. Yay, it's something else. It isn't got anything to do with the MCU. It's not going to be another theory-heavy driven WandaVision type show. It's just going to be its own little Robot Chicken-esque parody-ish about a character who
It's gonna be
hasn't
fun.
been introduced to the MCU. It will be fun, different, nothing to think about, nothing
Like
to do with Loki.
everything Marvel, we know it's going to be fun. We got
Yeah.
we got confirmation from Russell Crowe that he is playing Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder, which is.
But that brings us to a question: who would you cast as Hercules? Because that's been floating around all over the place. Who would you cast?
Yeah,
as
because they
Hercules?
never sort of really do Hercules because of, ironically, the Disney animated film and because of his place in mythology. If I was going to cast
Yeah.
an ideal Hercules, it would be The Rock, someone like that. Even though that Hercules film we made was terrible, but him, or
Atrocious.
if you want to go full Superman on it and have Hercules and Zeus, Henry Cavill.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah,
built like
I've
a
seen
big
him
shit
float
house.
around. Yeah, Henry Cavill. The son of Russell Crowe. Yeah, and he's full circle Man of Steel. Being Russell Crowe was basically his space daddy that died
Now I'm
to
your
save
space
his
dad
life. So,
again.
yeah.
But this time I probably can be Australian because doesn't matter. I'm just not going to sing because Les Mis was shit. Not shit. The stage production's very good. The film slightly less so, but that's because of Tom Hooper. Let's not get into him. He's a very literal director.
One day. That's enough
Maybe.
conversation.
Doctor Strange 2 is definitely a bonkers movie. They're going for a really sort of obvious horror show vibes. There's Elizabeth Olsen a week or so ago, as Benedict Cumberbatch was spotted around the production of that without a beard. Can he shave in this universe? Only we know.
Not in this universe, but in the multiverse of madness, the possibilities are endless.
They
So
are.
does that mean we're going to see like a weird Benedict Cumberbatch, other alternative Doctor Strange, or is it going to be a weird Sherlock cameo or something? I don't know
Be
if
pretty
they would
cool.
do that now. But yeah, is it
Yeah.
going to be another form of Benedict Cumberbatch? Maybe.
Yeah, and linking back to the early Game of Thrones thing, we had previously spoken about that Emilia Clarke is in Secret Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson, and previously confirmed Olivia Colman as what characters yet we do not know. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So that sort of brings us full circle. So this lot, because there's... Oh, sorry. Ant-Man writer Adam McKay also still wants to bring the Silver Surfer into the MCU. Because there's been a lot of chatter about him in terms of Fantastic Four's mentioned, and he is the Herald of Galactus, mainly associated with an antagonist sort of force with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And I think Adam McKay could write that quite well. He's done really well with his work in the Ant-Man films in terms of I'd like to see him go cosmic, because I think Quantumania is really going to lean into that, and I think Silver Surfer could sort of work like that if it's a sort of origin story that then brings him into, oh, this is the new big bad guy. This is the new Thanos.
Did I take you in who Kevin Smith came out on his podcast lately and said who would you
Yes.
cast as Galactus and Silver Surfer?
Arnold Schwarzenegger as Galactus, and is it Bruce Willis as Silver Surfer?
as Silver Surfer, yeah,
That
I
would be funny,
mean-
but also not Bruce Willis, because notoriously
No.
difficult to work with and gets paid by the line, as we saw in Expendables.
right.
That's why he didn't come back, because he wanted like 10 million for like 2 days worth of work. Arnold Schwarzenegger could definitely work as Galactus.
Yeah, as long as they don't do, I am the planet devourer.
I think
Nice to meet you.
because they play more into the comedic side of it, like in a sort of Guardian spin, he would sort of be a thing of like, oh, this is a really powerful, like, this is a really powerful motherfucker, but he is like they would not take him seriously until it's like, oh no, he's gonna eat Earth. We need everyone together.
Yeah,
Fun, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And the final sort of thing is what you said. The Falcon and Winter Soldier, as we go into it now, almost included the Jigsaw from Punisher, not Prince Caspian from Narnia
randomly.
himself, Ben Barnes.
yeah,
What
yeah.
say
That was
you?
very random. But it wasn't as Jigsaw though. It was just going to be a separate character from
Ralph
what I
Boner.
understand reading into that article. Mate, he could have been the literal Ralph. He could have been the witness. Oh, that would have been a good link actually. No, I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't going to be the continuation of Jigsaw, the foil to the John Bernthald's Punisher. It could have been cool if they continued that, but then the question is, why? If you're going to bring the villain back, why not bring John Bernthald back? Yeah. Anyway, in another timeline, it would have happened. I need more Ben Barnes. I don't know. I just think he needs to come back at some point, but probably not as Jigsaw. He could probably do a lot more, like as an actor and
As an
you know,
actor.
as an actor, yeah, he can come back. Because, I mean, the Jigsaw role was fine, but it wasn't like a top tier, like, oh my god, you're the next Hannibal Lecter. It wasn't Jack Nicholson crazy. He did the job, and that was fine.
Mhm.
But, I don't know, come back as a different person. He could be a weird Silver Surfer. Just shave him bald and paint him silver. He could be a surfer.
Ben Barnes Silver Surfer, yeah, or dare I say Johnny Storm?
Yes. Yes. Or Ghost Rider. I don't know. I don't know, actually. Ghost Rider?
Who haven't we seen? Gambit?
Yes. I say yes to everything, but yes, Gambit. I like
Yes.
it. Yeah.
You
Yes.
are the Matt Berry of this podcast. But with,
Yes,
with
Gambit.
not as magnificent a voice.
No, sorry, no. That happened at 13. Hashtag pizza.
It happens when you've been in Toast of London. I really can't wait for Toast of Tinseltown. Like, literally. I'm just
That
fucking
title sounds
waiting.
amazing.
I just
That
waiting.
title sounds amazing.
Shall we?
Yes.
Shall we talk about America's new arse?
The next generation of America's arse. I mean, Anthony Mackie as the new and improved Captain America. Spoiler alert for anyone that didn't watch our live stream Friday night, or if you haven't been watching the Contractedly Obliged Falcon Winter Soldier episode 6. Like, where have you been if you haven't? You've only been locked indoors for the last year and a half. So, alas, if you haven't watched it, if you want to watch it, if you've got any slight interest, I'd suggest possibly clicking off, watch the episode, see what you think, come back, and then hear us talk about it.
Because if you haven't watched at this point, we're going to go straight into spoilers, because there's no point, because we watched it, and if you watched it along with us, thank you very much for joining us for the watch-along of the finale. We will be doing the Loki season opener and season finale from 11th of June to whenever the last episode of that is. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this episode, and off the back of that, we got some exciting news regarding the future of Captain America and how the threads in this show and the storyline of the villains will be tied up in a different Disney Plus series. But let's go in with, what did you think, Mr. Connor Esser, about Falcon and Winter Soldier, Episode 6, Trademark?
Trademark work being badass. Just the fact that there was no build up, there was no sort of final conversation about, like in episode 2, we had a brief conversation about, the plan, Anthony Mackie having a plan and Sebastian Stan sort of not getting informed in. There was no plan building, there's no team meeting, no debriefing about how shit was going to go down. I liked how this episode just began with World Peace Conference, essentially. It wasn't a World Peace Conference, but, so Flag Smashers had people on hostage. Yeah, border borders, yeah. They had those people, conference people, hostage.
It was a live episode of Border Force from Sky Living in the early 2000s.
Make
Sky
Line of
Living is a
Duty,
channel
Watch
that
Down.
people watch because it had like Katie Price on it for some reason in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Sorry.
It was an episode of Olympus Has Fallen. It was just things at stake.
Yeah.
The episode was darker. They took a page out of DC's book, like we said during the stream. It was straight out the Dark Knight almost.
So
Just
dark.
slightly more blue.
Coming out from the DC universe.
We saw, and at the beginning, we just saw the wings of the Falcon in the air, that not obviously close, zoomed in enough to sort of reveal the full spandex, but we knew that Captain America was on its way.
Because we got teased
you know,
with him looking at the
yeah.
briefcase with his suit made by the Wakandans, and then cut to credits. But we literally
Cut to
jumped
black,
straight
yeah.
in with the conflict. The Flag Smashers, who
No
have a
build up,
point
no.
about the borders and people just coming back into power and shutting the world down again, like going back to this, when the world has changed and adapted, and it's very, like we said before, the messages that are portrayed in this series are very good and very good for society as a whole. And we get to see Sam Wilson kick ass as the new Captain America. Can officially say before you, like, I'm gonna let you just go for it. I'm gonna let you run ragged. Just want to
Run
say,
ragged, yeah.
this show did everything I wanted it to do with Anthony Mackie and his character of Sam Wilson. The respect and admiration and love for this character is refreshed and renewed to a point now where he could totally lift Mjolnir if the time came. He doesn't necessarily need the Super Soldier Serum, but
No.
if he did, I ain't going to be against it. Let him lead the new Avengers film. And while Connor briefly goes into it, I just need a wee real quick, so I'm so sorry. But,
No.
Connor, tell us how good it
Okay.
was when he threw the shield and then he said he was Captain America.
Oh, just goosebumps. I mean, this isn't even like 5 minutes. I mean, I think the suit was roughly at the 2-minute 50 mark.
It's okay.
The only nitpick is the neck, isn't it? The actual costume is the bit around the neck, because it's not a full around his head helmet cowl thing. It's just like a weird neck piece.
comic accurate, because I've looked at the
Yeah.
pictures. And he has like the Falcon. So he has Falcon goggles normally. So he has that, and then he has almost like a reverse cowl, like because like Cap has the helmet like that's plugged in, or has like the weird hood in Avengers Assemble, Avengers for everyone else. So we'll just call it that. So it's black and white. No, black and white. It's red, white, and blue. Sorry, black. I'm thinking of a different suit that appears at the end. It's all black.
certain agent. Mm.
Yeah, the Us agent.
yeah, was sponsored by us. Yeah.
So he's got the white. So he's got white shoulders up the neck. So it goes up the neck and goes here, and then the goggles leaves his head free, and obviously the mouth. So it sort of like goes like round there. But then he's just got the holes cut out for his ears. And we were saying, there's people that have had to wear masks in public for well over a year. We know how much that could just pull down on them, especially if he's in flight. It's gonna be a bit of chafage. He's gonna need some Vaseline on them. So we were just like saying, like, could you have just then covered the ears, or could you have had it like just have the top half like caps? But then it's trying to differentiate. It's not posting a big A on his forehead and like pointing a fucking target on his head. So, look at me, this is for the country that let a super soldier kill an innocent man on the street. Because now Captain America sense the ideology of not just America but the world. He is more than just a symbol of
Captain
America.
Planet. He's Captain Earth now. He's Captain Earth.
Captain Planet, but he doesn't recycle. Well, he probably does. It's Sam Wilson. He's the best. Still has the wings. We were worried that they weren't going to be included. He does have the better wings. His old wings are with Torres. Hopefully we get some payoff of that in Armor Wars, maybe, because that seems maybe judging where stuff like that could go.
Yeah.
And no serum, but he has the stripes like the stealth suit from Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah.
He has the side stars like First Avenger, the sort of Kevlar polymer suit from First Avenger. So no Avengers logos, just the stars.
Logos, yeah.
And then he has 4 red stripes down the centre, as opposed to Cap only ever had a maximum of 3 that you could see.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 or 5 because you had always had one in the middle, so it was always an odd one. Because he had 2 in First Avenger, because they just painted the buckles on the thing, didn't they? Just painted them red, and then they added a middle one in Winter Soldier. We're just talking about costumes and production design, because this was so fun. It's a nice suit. It's a really nice suit.
It's comic accurate. It's honestly up there as like in terms of being ripped from the pages of the books. It's up there, giving slight credit to DC. The Black Manta suit, the Aquaman original costume. Like it's one of the best looking.
Yes.
All right, sure. The neck thing we can kind of nitpick a little bit, but whatever. If they change, because even in the Captain America suits, as the sequels came out, they always had the suit evolve. So maybe a very good chance is Marvel being Marvel. They'll just evolve the suit anyway. We'll see a slight variation as years gone by.
There's a really good channel, Teleanimated, that does like the evolution of like characters in animated form, and one of them is Captain America, so showing how all the suits change and the textures and things. You do that for like the Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man. It's like just a shout out to that channel because that's really good. And they recently did King Kong and Godzilla because obvious reasons.
Yeah, nothing to do with Marvel. But yeah, so instantly he's in a fight, very reminiscent of the Winter Soldier, Captain America's second movie with Batroc Siliper. Siliper. Yeah, he's in a round 1 Mortal Kombat sort of style fight right off the get-go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's just the mirrors because that's how Winter Soldier kicks off. Steve versus him. Now it's Falcon versus him. Or sorry, Captain America, as he says to the the people on hostage. He instantly says,
Captain America. I thought he was on the moon.
Exactly.
He's not on the moon. He's not on the moon. He's here and he kicked. Oh my god, it's so nice. The character development, him and Bucky. God, this show's good. This was the payoff. I want there to be an edit where you can watch all of them just at once, because like we've said, it does feel like we'll drop that in,
a movie.
We'll split it there, split it there. Not a thing of like this episode ends and starts here, blah blah blah. Which we've complained about pacing wise, but it doesn't matter when the last episode is like this is how we're going to round it up, and does it quite well.
It does.
I think he has more than earned the title and really performs as Cap, and the wings look great, and he's saving people on the helicopter. When he fucking
that was amazing. He just looks badass again. He feels like Batman-esque as well. He's bright and colourful and not as dark and tragic.
He's like
he's
a
friendly, eco-friendly Batman merged into one black person. Yeah, I guess, yeah. He's a hybrid. He's the hybrid.
He's a hybrid. Oh, Clara, am I a good Captain America?
The answer
I
is
was
yes.
the thinker, but am I Marvel now?
Mm.
No, yes, fantastic. And you see, I like the audience seeing him. Like, not the audience, the public. They're like, it's Black Falcon right there. It's like, nah, that's Captain America.
Captain America.
Because Bucky's got his own thing. He's on a motorcycle. Because it's him, Sharon, and Sam. They're the team. Sharon doesn't really do much to help apart from when they get to a certain bit.
Yeah, controversial bit. Yeah.
Oops. No.
Controversial bit.
So yeah, he's chasing them down. So basically, who is it? The senators or whatever that are
he's
like closing back up the borders and that. They're in these trucks
Border police.
that the
Border
flag
police.
smashers have managed to sort of rig with this explosive on the back, and like getting them out of there. Like they've faked the evacuation so they get them out of there and sort of get them to where they want them. And then Bucky saves them and they thank him for saving their life, and that's the one who goes. Oh,
And
shit.
you see the detail in his face because he sort of acknowledges it and he's like, yeah, thank you.
Like,
And he sort of slowly begins to accept.
Maybe I am
It's like
a
he
hero.
begins to accept it. Maybe I am a good man, Clara. Maybe I am a
it
good
was the hybrid. So good. And Bucky's he's just so lovable. Just
You want to hug him.
I just
you wanna hug
his
him.
little face. Sebastian Stan's fantastic. That standoff on the phone between him and Carly was genius. Like it's well written and really well like acted. But then again, we had the problem that we were talking about. Like some of the stuff Carly says is like, like have you
And
ever
as we see with her and as we see with her and her followers, you can see the disagreement in their faces. And they say like one world, they don't respond with one people. You just see the
She has to say it a
tension
couple
amongst
times,
her.
and they're like, "Oh, baby,"
Yeah.
because there's only 4 of them left, isn't there?
Yes. But then we eventual Cap, the real Cap, turns up. John Walker, all badass and mopey. Yeah, we
The
saw
real
in the
Cap.
brief post-credit scene we got for episode 5. We saw him hammering the shield together with
Doesn't
the
look that bad.
badge of honor. It didn't look that bad until he threw it, and the flag smashers fucking yeeted it, and it fucking just broke. It was just there on the floor.
Yeah, he was getting punched, but then his super serum kicks in and he kicks some ass. I was just going to say, with the Carly thing with Bucky, when she says, "Have you ever fought for anything bigger than yourself?" It's like, and then the meme is like Bucky who fought in World War II and fought
Exactly.
Thanos. Like,
And the Infinity War.
Yeah.
More or less.
yeah, he fought for this country and then he fought for this planet. So, respect to Sergeant James Buchanan Barnes.
Sebastian Skywalker. If only the galaxy could never sense your presence.
Oh god, that'd be so cool. He would be. I can't talk about Sebastian Stan, Luke Skywalker. Oh my god, it'll take a while. He was amazing. And Wyatt Russell has been, I think, a really solid performer for this show. As much as Anthony Mackie has been the full focus, like
The
someone
star,
like Wyatt Russell, who did everything the government, like he says in his trial, like I did what you asked me, what you trained me to do, and then he gets sort of like thrown out on the side after killing that guy. But he sort of, I think he's not redeemed himself, but he's shown like he is a person that isn't.
He's capable of being a good man.
It's
Exactly. He wasn't a supervillain with a plan for about world domination. He wasn't a villain. No.
Just someone who's corrupted by it. Who's just striving to be accepted and striving for power. Like you said, his shield gets torn the fuck out of. He has a choice between getting because Carly then slopes off, like when he's fighting some of them. He does kick some serious fucking flag smasher ass. But she gets in one of the trucks with because the other one of them's got saved by Bucky. The other one she hijacks and drives into the construction site and like jumps out. So then they're going to tip over the edge where Bucky is fighting one of the other flag smashers, and you see him. He's torn between choosing, and then he chooses to save the truck with the people in, and you just have that nice little moment of fucking John saving lives, and that's so good.
That was. Wasn't expecting it as well, to be honest.
Nice. We had some nice moments for him. Like as much as he is he's not a great person that they would have chosen for Captain America. His character has flaws like anyone, but he's not a massive arsehole. He's just a bit of a dick.
No, he's not. 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 He's not
And he did kill a man with a shield, but apart from that,
Apart from that, no, we're not quite at the boys yet. When we get to, okay, we'll talk about it properly when we get to this bit. But when we eventually get to Avengers versus Thunderbolts or Avengers versus Revengers, Dark Avengers, whatever you want to call them, that's when it will be Marvel versus the boys, in the sense that, superheroes are a lie, the world is a facade led by the government, so to speak. But we'll get into that as properly later on. But yeah, as it starts off, he has a redemption moment. John Walker is great. Corrupted person, but yeah, he's on the good side. Yep. He's on the good team. From Lamar, he's on the good team. So yeah, they save trucks and people. But then we get to the controversial bit. The Sharon Carter, like, oh, I'm going to help you out. Carly, get back here, woman. You
skipped the catch. You skipped the catch because he's pulling the truck and then gets thrown down the construction thing because he gets tackled by two flag smashers, and as the truck's tipping, it gets stopped by Captain America. And people are saying he held it like he didn't hold the truck up because he was like being pushed by the thrusters. Like, no, he holds it for a good 10 seconds before like the attachments of Red Wing go on and then help him push it back up. And he's just a normal man without super soldier serum, and that was the moment where everyone's like, "This is Cap, this is his glory shot, and it's fucking brilliant." And like you get the Black Falcon, nah, it's Captain America. Like, amazing, oh mate, beautiful, love it. Like, and then you go to the, like you said, the underground bit. So him. Bucky and Sharon. No, him, Bucky and John go there. Sharon's already there because we get the reveal that we were sort of half anticipating.
Kind of cool since episode 3 or 4, since we sort of saw her introduction. To be honest, it was the twist that people saw coming. Whereas she is the power broker.
Yep.
We kind of said this, but she's the power broker. But even the way it was kind of revealed and said, it was just. She had a gun at Carly had a gun at her, and essentially I was disappointed in you, and then she says, I was disappointed in you too, Carly.
Come back and join me, we can still do this.
Yeah, more or less, but as soon as she said that, it was just like, oh, this is the power broker scene, and then she even, I think, is it Carly says to her, power broker, she says, power broker, and it's like, oh.
Let's talk about the power broker, and then Batroc comes in because obviously he lost a lot of money from Falcon defeated him, and he's just pissed off. And he's only there to kill the Falcon, and he gets shot. Like, Sharon shoots him, and then Carly shoots Sharon, and that's when Sam walks in. So then he's none the wiser to the scheming going on, and then just as he's getting somewhere with her, talking her down. And like after, like she's trying to fight him, and he's doing the Steve thing of like, no, I'm not going to fight you. And then she gets shot.
Yeah.
By Sharon. And it's...
By Sharon, not a supervillain broker. Yeah. Typical. She did that to maintain her cover, I suppose.
Yes.
And
we were saying that, weren't we?
Yeah, it's just because she wouldn't want to be ousted as this next villain that's kind of been helping the baddies.
Mm-hmm.
But yet helping Falcon and Bucky along the way. So she is literally walking between both lines. She's just helping herself and her illegal trade.
Yes.
Surviving in this post-apocalyptic world. I mean, that's her agenda at this point. Whether or not she might be a Skrull down the line to then sort of explain why she was all basically nice in the Captain America films. And then obviously I understand the blip in a 5-year post-apocalyptic world where society isn't the same, kind of like the world we slightly are in now, hence COVID, and it would change your demeanour on things and your outlook and perspective on stuff. But to suddenly become a real game player, like, is that
people
really
were saying that was the thing, sort of the discarding of that element of the character development was kind of sort of a point where it was like,
Oh, it's not believable, isn't the word? I know, it's just not believable.
No.
I don't know.
But I think it feels rushed for us because the last time we saw her, she was just like a good guy. But obviously, there's stuff that hopefully will be filled in or elaborated on in the future.
Down the line.
Cap then takes her the body of Carly in a very Jesus-like imagery, like flies her back to the people,
Yeah, hold it.
like
Yeah,
where the senators are, where the news are, and speaks as Captain. That gets people saying like, "Are you now like you Captain America, or are you still Falcon, or is it Captain Falcon? Like, who made you Captain America? Is it the government? When did they appoint you? Blah, 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 what you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And then he proves he's just as good as Steve was at talking and saying like, this girl died trying to stop you. The next one might not.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
her message will still be inspiring people because of what you've done in terms of this thing of like essentially calling them these refugees terrorists when a lot of people were gone and the world started helping each other. So like delay the putting the borders back up and stuff like that, and we see flashes of Isaiah and Torres and stuff watching it, and you know, you're getting the real sense of like he is fully Captain America, and Bucky's just off to the side going, just smiling at him.
Said he wasn't paying attention. All he heard, what does he say? He says like, "Oh, I heard you say
I
like."
was texting. All I heard was like a black man carrying the stars and stripes or something.
Yeah,
Like, a little smiling
yeah.
joke, and then an almost reverse image. So like Bucky like tapping him on like the back in the same way that Steve does for Bucky in the plane in Civil War, just as they're getting off.
Ah, yeah.
A lot of that kind of imagery, and it was like, symmetry.
This is
Cap
nice.
still got his Bucky, and Bucky still got his Cap, and they are definitely past the point of just being colleagues. Like they have grown through this, and because of I think it was the turning point was the apology and them talking with the Shield last episode. You know, like we never thought what it would be like for a black man to take this up. Like, I'm sorry for the way I reacted to you, and them helping each other. And you see Bucky sending his psychiatrist his book with all the names crossed out because he starts because Zemo's was the first step in help, like, you know, actually going and helping, like where he saved people, and he talks to his mate, whose name escapes me, telling him that he had no choice when he was Winter Soldier, which was sort of felt a bit rushed because there was more stuff he could have said in terms of like, I killed him but I didn't have a choice.
He could have said. Yeah,
and then that conversation sort of alludes to that it carries on without us seeing, because then the next time you see him, he's walking past the window, making sure that he's still eating in that restaurant they eat on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
and that's a nice. It is a nice bit of like, sorry, the thread from the beginning. It's a nice sort of wrap up of that at the end. I mean, there's a bit more that I would have liked to have seen done with that, and especially the woman in the bar that he did have that date with. It could have been a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's to come.
Because she's there in the window when he sees the old man, isn't he? So yeah, there could be something with that potentially. Captain America 4 or another Disney Plus series or something.
Possibly. And we get the US agent. We fully get him because
the US agent, yeah.
Madam Hydra. I forget her Contessa name.
Valentina de la Fontaine.
Yeah.
Valentina Fontaine. Yeah.
Contessa Valentina de Fontaine or something. Yeah. Agent 14. Madam Hydra. Whatever you want to call her.
Nick Fury's expert. Nick Fury's
yeah. She is given John the US agent outfit, the full-on comic accurate red and white stripes on the chest, black everywhere else, because they don't have the shield. Obviously, he doesn't have the shield anymore. No. We'll have. I reckon his version of the shield, because that's vibranium as well in the comics, isn't it? It's.
Pretty sure it is, yeah. And I think the star is bigger. Yeah, I think the star on it is black. It's mainly
I don't
red,
even think it has a star. I think it's literally like a black circle and then sort of like the red and white stripes and then like a black outline. If I remember my comics history, I'm not.
I have to Google it.
But yeah, similar costume, but full on because the world's a bit crazy and it's not going to need a Captain America. It's going to need a US agent. We've got the full-on...
Which is it's a cheesy name, but it works.
We got the full-on name check for that, which means hopefully more Wyatt Russell, like we were saying. That would be really nice, especially if he sort of... It is sort of almost setting up a Thunderbolt / Dark Avengers kind of thing, with the possibility of that. For him to sort of maybe be an antagonist or a player in the newly announced Captain America 4, which we'll get into in just a second.
Yeah.
And then we got the mid-credit scene after we got the title change. Sorry, no, the cookout. The Sam Wilson family barbecue, where everyone is like having pictures with him. They're eating great food. Bucky's playing with the kids, like the amazing stepdad that he'll be to them kids.
Yeah,
just
100%.
messing about,
He'll
bringing
definitely
cake,
get with his sister. He'll get with his sister, 100%.
and ends with them both looking out and just having a moment and just, before walking back to the party. And we get the credits that say Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
And the Winter, not the White Wolf. God damn it, Captain America and the White Wolf. God damn it. But yeah, that'll be next time. That'll be season 2. Oh, season 2 of this, but technically it'll be season 1 of Captain America. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll have Captain America and Winter Soldier, and then we'll have the first season of Captain America and the White Wolf, and then we'll get to Captain America 4, which will then be called Captain America No More.
Captain America, Captain America Serpent Society. Yeah. They'll reuse the fake title from Civil War.
Which will then introduce the Hydra Captain America, or whatever he's called. Is it Captain Hydra? Is he just Captain America but Hydra? Yeah. Captain Hydra. Fine. That Chris Evans can come back for that movie.
Like a clone from Terminator Salvation when that really bad CGI of Arnie's face.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Chris Evans
solved it.
We've done it. Yeah.
News like during the stream like this came up that they were working on Captain America 4 with is it Martin Spellman?
And Kyrie, the director of this show, Malcolm Spellman, Kyrie.
Martin.
Malcolm Spellman.
And the other one, they're writing the script for Captain America 4.
Captain America 4.
Another one of the Holy Trinity actually getting a full film, but obviously the first of the Sam Wilson Captain America. So it's nice to see that will lead on in some way. His this version of the story, it will continue for him in the film. We'll hopefully see a bit more of that, a bit more of what's going on with Sharon. Where do you think she's going to go? Is she going to play a part in the whole Madam Hydra goings on, or are they going to butt heads at some point because they're sort of both on a similar path and maybe after similar sort of things? Will US Agent then be a problem for the Power Broker in terms of trying to get the Super Soldier Serum again? We don't know. Setting up US Agent nicely, and these things will come into play in the Armor Wars show with Don Cheadle, because Don Cheadle will be the lead of that, which we sort of knew anyway, but now we're expecting more of a thing of this is his show, and he's just going to go around and try to stop.
But of course, him having appeared in episode 1 kind of roughly set that up anyway. It was just nice. It was like a little reminder going, "Hey, I'm having my show. I'm here. I'm going to have my show. Come watch it. Watch it."
The two best friends of the main two guys that have now either passed away or moved on from their mantles, having a conversation and proving why they get on so well, because they are sort of we're kind of both the same. We're dragged into this by our mates, and now we're sort of left alone. What do we do without them?
Having to take up their responsibility. Yeah.
It's not. I hope that it doesn't. Armor Wars doesn't just become this show again. I hope he sort of. It's a thing in there that he's got to deal with within the whole
Tony,
trying
the legacy of Tony.
Yeah, within trying to stop everyone getting hold of the armor and the technology.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Justin?
Will I be? Am I capable of becoming War Machine, even though you have been for the last 10 years in the film?
Honestly,
hopefully we won't deal with that again.
If they then it comes to a thing of you're going to be Iron Man, and they do that, and he becomes yes,
yeah, I'll be fine with that.
There is no greater service than to be they're best friends, that in any other terms would be minorities, not really lead any superhero franchises. For them to then both be the new main guys, for them to be Cap and Iron Man in
back to back.
Imagine if they did that and then they're oh yeah, we're going to do Iron Man 4 and then we're going to set up Avengers 5 in a couple of years' time. And you had all of a sudden all those people that have been, complaining about the representation, Captain America and Iron Man are then both people of colour and really good fucking actors and really good characters and just really nice fucking people.
And I get that the original incarnation of the characters might forever live on, not obviously in our faces, of course, because they've died.
In our minds, in our hearts.
In our minds and hearts.
The best thing about the Marvel comics is that it is legacy. An event as much as they always start again, you get these stories where it hands off to someone else. The characters, it's not like Chris Evans' Cap stops existing. He went through that amazing journey,
of course. Yeah.
And now this is the next stop. Like we always said, Endgame very much felt like a thing of this is the culmination of what we've been building these last 10 years. If you want to get off, you're going to have a complete story in your head and your heart, but we're going to carry on if you want to stick around on the circular line.
This universe is literally the comic books like now they're at the comic book point of going, yeah, you know what, you can finish. This is one new 52-ish time. No, it's DC, but new 52. Now we're doing like the Rebirth universe. Now we're going to do this. Now we're doing that. But they all loosely
Sort of,
carry
yeah.
over to each other.
It's all building and getting even better and stronger, and I'm just here for it. And I really look forward to Armor Wars. I look forward to the sort of break we're going to get from this version of the series with Loki, because this felt like Winter Soldier. This felt like Captain America Winter Soldier continued. I really like that, especially after I thought I wasn't after how different WandaVision was. It was nice to sort of get back to that, especially when it was like, oh, this isn't just what you think it's about. It's also about social and ethical issues and things like that, and it really made the difference and was really fucking nice. We completely forget that as Isaiah Bradley now has a memorial to himself in the Captain America exhibit in the museum.
That was one of the highlights,
Basically, on the plaque it says how he was one of many soldiers that were taken against their will and like given different versions of the serum to see how it worked, because if it didn't work, then they were seen as expendable. But, But yeah, and now he said the country won't, like, people will never forget what you did for this country, because he was Captain America, but you know, a person of colour, and that was looked down on in that time, because he was. I think it's just in this version, it's just after Steve's gone into the ice, it's the race to get the serum again. So I'm assuming this is like pre-Vietnam, stuff like that.
Pre-Vietnam late 50s, 60s, 70s.
Whereas in the comics, they test it on soldiers of colour before they give it to blonde hair, blue eyes, white guy, you know, the perfect ideal American. And he makes point of that in his speech, like, I'm here. No blonde hair, no blue eyes, no super soldier serum. But, you know, he's here because the only power I have is to believe that we can do better.
The empathy that Steve had. True,
he has the level-headedness to Steve as well. Like, he's taken from all that as well, hasn't he? Like, all everything he's learnt and seen from him, but he's also got his own experiences that make him sort of like, no, this is what, like, I get your point with this, but the way you're going about this is terrible, because you're killing random people. But anyway, Isaiah Bradley now fully behind. I think he's like, they have that conversation in his garden, and it's like, I almost believed what you're saying there, and he shows him the exhibit, and they have like the moments of tears and the hugging. Who does his grandson become in the comics?
So every time I want to call him Echo, even Echo's a completely different character. It's Patriot, yes.
So people are saying we maybe get Patriot in, and like
the Young Avengers.
We get Young Avengers with him, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, because Hawkeye wrapped. That's expected later on.
Yeah, he did. We know that's after Loki. In terms of the Disney Plus TV
that was one
shows,
of the 4 original ones, wasn't it? It was that, and then and then they're filming She-Hulk, and that'll be next, and then Moon Knight, and
Miss Marvel,
Moon Knight, and then Secret Invasion, and whatever. Fuck it.
And then Armor Wars. The timetable will get announced
as the month. Because Armor Wars was one of the extra ones, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure it was 2022. I think that's going to be one of the early next year ones.
So it was the original 4. That ends with like thingy, and then there was the extra 3 that was She-Hulk, Miss
Marvel, and Moon Knight.
And then it was
they were the
yesterday when they announced Armor Wars, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Groot, and stuff. Sorry, I announced so many shows that we don't know.
No. Whether or not that order will change, or
it could
that will be the order.
WandaVision was meant to be after Falcon and Winter Soldier, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure this was meant to be like the first one.
This was the first TV show that would have come out after Eternals, roughly.
Yeah, but hey, we got that wrong, did we? We got that.
It was interrupted in filming, and it was easier to do one of it. This was a great show, in terms of what it did for shaking up the universe. Fantastic. The tone and that, I think, still sits better with WandaVision in terms of this was something completely new and a different thing, but the familiarity of it was what really drew you in.
If anything, I'd say WandaVision had a better like week to week build of keep you intrigued and interesting, and the kind of what will happen, like what's going on here. Whereas this literally felt like a movie cut at appropriate enough bits. An episode or 2 could have helped flesh out certain tiny bits of the story.
Yeah,
because I really watched it on Sunday, and I think around 2 or 3. Yeah, the end of 2 to episode 3, and then by episode 4, it's then okay.
If you had
But
you added
yeah,
a couple of
there's
episodes that were actually and wrote them a bit more as episodes and streamlined them, like it would have been
yes,
like
like
superb,
fleshed out.
like
Yeah.
superbly fleshed out. But like with what they had from it, like it still works and tells a complete story. You're absolutely right.
Far from bad. Yeah, it's not nowhere near bad.
No. It's
great.
a solid. What did we say? What on the stream? I think I said it's like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. WandaVision just picks it like because it was. We expected one thing, got something completely different, and it was a tone that we'd never seen before. The familiarity of this is not to its detriment. It's nice, sort of comfort thing that draws you back in, and the story and the characters that it elaborates. Because, like I've said before, Sam Wilson sort of became just a Captain America fanboy after how useful he was in Winter Soldier. And this show,
it's fully redeemed his character and like proper.
It's given him so much character development. I've loved it. And I've loved Anthony Mackie. He needs to win all the awards along with Sebastian Stan. Fantastic cast, fantastic writing, fantastic directing. I cannot wait. So far, we're 2 for 2. These Marvel shows have knocked They've knocked it out of the park.
We are.
All eyes now, because we've got a gap now.
A bit of breathing room. Yeah.
A bit of break until the Legends episode comes out, which Legends means nothing. It's just highlights. Like the highlights are bad.
Yeah, we do.
Go check out the highlights of the stream.
That's not this week, is it? That's not this.
I don't think so.
The Marvel Assembled or Legend, whatever it's called. You know, the main.
Assembled the behind the scenes show. It'd be nice if it came out. I think it did for WandaVision. It was the Friday after the last episode, wasn't it?
And I don't think they've announced. Unless we Google it, we end this recording and we find out tonight that it's out Friday.
We'll look at it. We'll see. We'll have a look. I'm assuming it'll be something like a couple of weeks. It'll happen because it might be a bit harder because that was more in COVID. So maybe we might see a bit more of how that affected it. But yeah, really solid, great show. And if these shows come out on physical media, I will buy them. I will be rewatching them.
100%, yes.
I want to rewatch. Now they're all out. I want to do 1 to 6 because last sort of dipped in and out of it. She was because WandaVision she was in because it was like things. It was like this gimmick. Like after the first, it was sort of weird, and then got drawn into it because of the wider thing, and then bits like she said, bits of Captain America. She said I'd rather watch it all as one because it feels like it's just all one thing, like we've said before. Like she'd seen bits of them and stuff like that, and like got the main thing, but wasn't as sort of
invested and engaged.
So we'll probably watch all 6 now back to back, see how that goes, and yeah, really, really fucking liked it. Loki, the pressure is on.
No pressure, Mr. Hiddleston. No pressure.
If anyone can deliver, it's future James Bond, Tom Hiddleston.
Yes. 2027. There's no place like Loki. That's the title.
Take a Loki me now.
Loki, do you love me? Yeah, that's the next title of
That was we predicted that. That was episode 6. There you go. We fucking predicted James Bond now.
Loki, do you love me?
I didn't even realise that the title of last week sounds like the Just Eat advert. Did somebody say Shang-Chi?
That's great. That's brilliant. Did you know in Australia it's called something ridiculous?
It's called Menulog. What the fuck? But then Burger King's called something different in Australia.
Fucking menu.
Burger King, because there is a Burger King already that exists in Australia that's not the chain, so real Burger King is called something else. I don't know if you knew that.
There's a KFC. It's like a medical place. I think in America, or I'll be making it up. But there is like a medical place with the building's got KFC outside on it. It's got nothing to do with KFC. KFC Australia. Latest tweets from KFC Australia. Now I think they are.
We're actually checking
I'll find that
tweets
one.
from Australian KFC. Do you see? Yeah,
there's no image. Oh, okay.
Yes.
It probably is America. There's a building with KFC outside. It's not.
There is. So that was a lot of fun. Did you enjoy this show?
Yes. No, I pretty much enjoyed it. Sure. If we had to put our critics hat on, an episode or two could have helped really made it like great and excellent. But all in all, Anthony Mackie is a completely different person after this show. Wyatt Russell was, to me, like the star of it, considering all the personal threats and hate he got. But that's his job. That's, leave the poor guy alone. He's amazing. I now need to see this guy in everything. Kurt Russell 2.0. I love Kurt Russell anyway throughout lockdown, so it only makes sense that he was going to at least deliver in this show.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Emily Van Camp was fun to see, but I'm hoping that this power broker reveal sort of leads into something more prominent for her, and she becomes more of a, I don't know, not more of a threat, just more of a justifiable character. If there's a scroll twist, I wouldn't be against it. It'd make more sense, I think, in the long run. If we were to rewatch this and know the twist, it'd be like, I can let this up a little bit. We wouldn't criticise it as much, But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What did you guys think of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Whether you watched it with us or watched it on your own, or you've just watched it now after hearing us babble on about it, because some people like that kind of stuff.
We'll totally encourage you to watch it.
Please talk to us about it. Send us some emails to... where can they send the emails, Connor, for us?
nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com. Not the. Just nerdbiblecontact@gmail. I always want to say the.
Possibly.
The.
We are the Nerd Bible. No, I don't know. Naming rights, I don't know. If we made money, we'd probably, put more into the marketing. And if you want to get in contact with us throughout the week, you can send us a nice tweet, Facebook post, or anything else on Instagram. You can send all those to @PastySheep across all forms of social media for the big ones. And twitch.tv/PastySheep as we journey towards a streaming empire that one day will fall beneath us.
Yes.
I will just end like I always do now for the last 2 weeks, as in always, as in now this is a thing.
As a tradition, this is tradition, yes.
As before Connor says, stay pasty, the conclusion, the cliffhanger this week is that
right.
Fox is developing a sequel series to the Flintstones called Bedrock, in which their daughter Pebbles is now 20 and played by Elizabeth Banks. Good night, everybody.
Stay pasty, man. I've got to go. I need paste. What the hell is that? What? What? Is that happening?
Yep.
Eh?
That's a yabba dabba don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yabba dabba. Yeah, I don't get that one. I don't get what it is. I've seen bits of the Flintstones, but I don't know enough about. What? Why now? Why now?